Well, hello. Thank you for watching. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, it is a Olympus OM1. There are lots of reviews about the Olympus OM1. It is simply a beautiful camera. It is fully manual operatable, so you basically do not need batteries to operate it. The only reason you have to put in batteries in here is because of the light meter. The light meter, it takes LR44 batteries. So you have to put it in and then the light meter works. But strictly they are not necessary to operate this camera. You know, you can even switch the light meter on and off here. Here is the manual setting for the shutter speed. Here for the aperture on this beautiful standard, by the way, standard Olympus lens, which is a very good lens. Very nice camera, very popular, but also very expensive. I was lucky to find this one very cheap because the previous owner, it was an inheritance, they didn't know if everything functioned. Well, fortunately it did, but I could buy it cheaply. But normally if you want to buy this set, you look around, well, you have to consider that you have to pay 100 to 150 euros for this setup, for this combination. And that is a lot of money. Yes, I know it's a good camera. But it also has its flaws. It also has its fragile elements in it. So it's not a in my opinion, the working horse. The ones try to convince you that it is, because it isn't. It is a beautiful, sturdy built camera. It feels very nice. It's compact. It's nicely built, but it also has its fragile elements. But it is very popular, and hence I think the price. Besides the price, there's another disadvantage, I think, and that is the lens mount. The lens mount is OM, and that means you can only put Olympus or Fujica OM mount lenses on it. And these lenses are not cheap. The standard lens usually goes for around 50 euros. If you want to have more exotic lens like a 1.4, you pay around 150 euros. Wide-angle lenses 72, the exotic models 200 euros. So the lenses, zoom lenses, tele lenses are from Fujica are pretty expensive. There are lenses from Tamron, Tokina, etc., but they are just not the quality you are looking for. So nice camera, nice lens, but expensive. All the Olympus accessories, lenses, flashes, etc. are expensive. Aren't there any alternative? Well, yes, because of course they are, because otherwise I didn't make this video. There are plenty of other choices you can make. For instance, this one. This one doesn't cost 100 to 150 euros, it costs 35 euros, including this 1.7 lens. It is the Cosina CT1G. It has a mechanical shutter, and the shutter speed goes from 1 second to 1/1000th of a second, the same as the OM1. It has of course, a manual aperture. It doesn't have any automatic functions. It has a built-in light meter, and the light meter consists of 3 LEDs. It's overexposed, good, and underexposed. And the LEDs are powered, the light meter is powered here by a LR44 battery, 2 of them. So, but you don't need the batteries. This camera operates fully mechanical. All the shutter speeds work fully mechanical without any batteries. And besides the OM1, it has a addition feature, I think, which is very nice, and that is like this. The shutter is locked, so to unlock the shutter you have to put the lever a little bit, and then you can release the shutter. You can see on this one there is a Cosina lens, 1.7 Cosina lens, and the advantage of this camera above the Olympus OM1, besides from the price, is the lens mount. This camera has a K-mount lens. That means you have lots and lots of choice of good quality lenses, like from Pentax Self or from Cosina or from Chinon, or lots of brands and lots of offers. And these lenses are much cheaper than the Olympus mount lenses you've seen before. Okay, I can hear you say, well, it doesn't have a self-timer. Well, for those of you who use a self-timer, you can also buy the CT1G Super of Cosina, and that one has a self-timer. Like I said again, it's about 30 to 35 euros. The shutter is a metal shutter. It's not a cloth shutter like the Olympus, but it's metal. Sometimes you find the Olympus OM1s with a little burned hole in the back of the cloth shutter. Well, here that's impossible. It's a metal shutter. You see, this camera is, well, a little bit younger, but not much. It's 2-3 years younger than the OM1, and it still looks like new. Building quality, well, it feels very 30. It still operates after all these decades of use. And the size, is it the same size as the Olympus? Well, look at it. It's basically the same size. This one is heavier, and this one is lighter. But it's approximately the same size, so as easy to handle as the Olympus. Well, that's alternative number one. I can hear you thinking, are there more alternatives, like alternatives with a M42 lens mount? Yes, there is, and there are. For instance, this Fujica ST605. The only difference with the Olympus is that the maximum shutter speed of this one is 1/700th of a second, and the Olympus has 1/1000th of a second, but really in real life you will never miss it. This has a TTL metering system. That means you have to stop down the aperture to meter the lens. That is something the Olympus has not. The Olympus has an open lens metering, so that is an advantage for the Olympus. But also this one can operate without the batteries. The batteries are loaded here. There are 2 LR44 batteries. Sorry, I said previously the Cosina had 2 batteries, but it has 1 LR44. This one has 2 LR44 batteries. It has, like the Cosina, also a hot shoe, which you have to buy separately for the OM1. And believe me, the hot shoes for this one, especially for this one, are expensive. This one has a hot shoe included, like the Cosina I showed you. And it has a self-timer, like the Olympus OM1. Like I said, you can operate this camera without any batteries. The shutter is fully mechanical, and it operates on every setting you want. Well, let's have a look at the back. You can see here that this one has, like the Olympus, a cloth shutter, and the shutter the cloth is immaculate. The age of this camera is about the same as the Olympus OM1, and it still functions superb. Well, like the Olympus OM1, you can also have a socket here for a flash. In the viewfinder, you do not have LEDs like the Cosina I showed you, but it has a meter like the Olympus, exactly the same systems. The meter has to become within a certain range between 2 little values. Well, it's all graphics what you see, but it's a mechanical meter, and that is how you set or check the aperture you have made. This camera, well, you can buy this one for 35 euros, including a lens like this. And this is a beautiful old Fujinon 1.8 lens. It was the standard lens for this camera. 35 euros, not the 100 and 150. The advantage above the Olympus, I think, is this camera has a M42 lens mount. And for this camera, this lens mount gives you millions and millions of possible lenses you can buy, all very cheaply. You can buy a beautiful, immaculate 50mm 1.8 lens with M42 mounts for about 20-25 euros. The more exotic ones, they go more expensive. If you want to have like an f1.4 or a super wide angle, they're more expensive. But like some wide angles from Fujica, excellent lenses, they also perform perfectly beautiful on digital cameras. But like Fujica wide angle lenses with M42 mount, you buy for 30 euros maximum. So 30 to 35 euros for this instead of 100 to 150 euros for the Olympus. It saves you a lot of money you can spend on some beautiful lenses. Telelenses, you know, the 135mm f2.8 you buy for 20-25 euros. 100mm will be more expensive, but not as expensive as for the Olympus. So yes, this is a beautiful alternative. And in size, is it much bigger than the Olympus? Because the USP for the Olympus is it's very small and very compact. Well, yes, the Olympus is very small, but look at it. The Fujica is a little bit higher and a few millimeters wider, but that's about it. Okay, you want to spend 100 euros, 120 euros more for the Olympus, be my guest, but in size, and it feels sturdy. It feels a little bit heavier than the Cosina, although this one is not light. It is not many plastic parts. It's mostly made of metal. This one, most parts are metal, like the top and the bottom cover, and it's nice. You feel you have something in your hands. Still, if 30, 35 euros or even 40 euros is too much for you, I do have another alternative, and you will probably laugh about this, but I think if you are looking for a fully manual SLR like this, and you see it on fora, they will start talking about this one, or some Pentax models, or some Canon models, or even Nikon models, to be the ultimate gems, the holy grails. Well, believe me, there aren't. You know, when it comes to a camera, two things are important. The shutter speed has to be reasonably accurate, okay? That is one. Second thing is, the glass mounted on the camera, that decides most of the quality of your picture. And luckily, there are a lot of lenses made with M42 mounts and Pentax K mounts, which are perfectly, even better than these lenses. So, don't let yourself be fooled by fora who give you only Nikon, Olympus, and even sometimes when it comes to compact camera, Leicas and whatever. If you really want to go crazy and you think I am crazy and you want to spend 25 euros, well, here's the alternative. This, by the way, is not a standard lens. This lens came with another one I bought, but this is the Praktica Super TL 5. Yes, I had to look because I have multiple Prakticas, and for a reason. Like the Olympus, fully manual. Shutter speeds here from bulb 1 to, in this case, in this camera, 1/500 of a second. You also have Prakticas like the MTL3, the MTL5, etc. You buy for the same price, 20-25 euros, including the lens maximum. And they have shutter speeds up to 1/1000th of a second. So, you know, this is only an example. This has, like the Fujica, a TTL lens metering system. That means you have to press this, then the aperture shuts, and then the camera meters the light. And the metering is the same, basically the same principle as the Olympus. It has a mechanical needle, and in this case a little circle in where you have to maneuver the needle in. And if it's in the center of the circle, that means the combination of your shutter speed and the aperture is correct. Now, this, well, you might think, okay, well, this lens is more expensive. No, it isn't. I bought this set for 25 euros, including this wide angle lens, 2.8 wide angle lens. It is a super solid camera, really. It is a tank when you hold it. It has a hot shoe standard. It has, like the camera I showed you before, the Fujica, the Cosina, it has a metal shutter. Look here, this camera is over 70 years old. On the inside it still looks very new. It has an easy system to load your film. And I think it looks beautiful. It looks simple, but it looks beautiful. I changed the leather because, well, I like this one more than the previous plastic that was on it. I think this suits the camera better. Well, in size, yes, it is bigger than the Olympus. Let's, see the difference. The Praktica is higher, and it is, well, I think about 5 millimeters longer than the Olympus. In weight, it's about the same. But let me tell you this camera costs 25 euros. And look how it looks. It still functions like it should. And you have this M42 lens mount, like with the Fujica, with an enormous amount of lenses you can buy. From Praktica, the brand itself, and their cooperation, they work with the lenses like Pentacon. They have several beautiful lenses, and also very cheap. There is something strange, however, and it goes basically for most of the camera brands I've seen, most of the mounts I've seen, but it especially goes for cameras with M42 and cameras with Pentax K mounts. When you're looking for a particular lens, like the other day, I was looking for an extra wide-angle lens with M42 mount, and well, they asked 35 euros, and I thought, well, it's a little bit too much. And then, strange thing happened. I saw a Praktica MTL3. It had a Vivitar wide-angle lens on it, and they didn't know if the light meter was working or not. So I said, well, 20 euros, and they said okay, and additionally came 6 euros to postage. So for 26 euros, I had the Vivitar wide-angle lens, but also as I now experienced, a beautiful working body of a Praktica MTL3. So sometimes it's even cheaper to buy a camera, a lens with a body, in a complete camera, than to buy the lens separately. On the opposite, when you want to sell it, it might be profitable to sell the body separated from the lens. It gives you a decent sum of euros more, 10, 20 euros more in profit. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for a certain lens, don't look at only lenses. Also look at cameras that have the mount you are looking for, and scroll until you find the camera that has your lens on it. And I've even seen cameras that didn't work completely, weren't fully functioning, but were sold with, a M42 mount lens of good quality, old metal, everything you want as a collector. So there are lots for sale. There are also a lot of Prakticas for sale, and it's really. Sometimes some people say yes, but the quality control of the Praktica, and that also goes for the FED and the Zorki, etc., they weren't great. I agree, the quality control wasn't great. But if you have in 2025 a Praktica from the 60s or the 50s or the 70s that is still working, well, you know that it would have passed the quality control anyway, because it's still working. It had the best quality control you can have, because it had about 70 to 50 years of usage. So if it's still usable after that time, it's a quality product. In this case, it is. I'm really very fond of these types of cameras, and that's because of the price, and it's also its simplicity. And it's compact, but it has everything, basically everything you need. So, well, that's about it, my little chat on the Olympus OM1 and why not to buy and maybe orientate on different brands and different types. I hope you liked it. There are plenty of suggestions, you know, plenty of alternatives for the OM1. If you have something special, say, well, you know, this one is also very cheap and very reliable, also 70 years old and has a lens mount where you can buy cheap lenses, please list it below in the comments, so you know we can broaden the knowledge of the viewers. Well, thank you very much for watching again.